It's not something that just the students get into either.
It's almost like a way of life.
I want to see you guys just going crazy. Just everyone decked out in red, green, blue, and yellow.
It is the ISC.
Well, it's pretty fun to think about because it all started with Mr. Christopher coming up with this idea that his classes could create a full-length feature film. And who would have thought, no, high school class, that that's something they could do, but he certainly pulled it off. The first year they started with just a script that he got from an outside source, but then the second year we wanted to improve on that a little bit, so there was some kids involved in writing it, mostly on their own time. And the third year, we had a group of students who got really excited about the concept of writing a movie. So we were all working on it together, and people dreaming up different characters, which is the same thing that we did when it came to Invisible Ties.
So the script for Invisible Ties was written by the Writing for Publication class, which started up in fall of 2016 and edited in spring of 2017. A couple weeks before we started pre-production phase of this movie, Christopher came up to me, Cabin, and asked if we wanted to be a part of it. Well, he came up to us individually, but when he came up to me, he asked what part I wanted, and I said I wanted to be the director. And then, but after a couple days, he gave me the role of it officially. And then I met Cayman, and then Cayman hired Trisha as the producer, and then we just kind of went from pre-production from there.
So Christopher, the way he approached me, he gave me a decision whether I wanted to be director, DP, or a producer. I chose DP, mostly because with directing, I wasn't as into acting, but DP work, I was really into the camera. I was really into shots and perfecting that.
As a producer, I basically communicated to everyone involved with the movie, and I also planned out scenes, which scenes we were going to do when and where. I informed everyone what scenes we were going to do, what outfit they needed to wear. Basically, everything behind the scenes, anything involving organization or planning or communicating was basically what I did. Okay, so over the summer, Andrew, Cademan, and I met up a few times just to discuss the script and the characters. We also kind of drafted like what locations we wanted to see. So whose house were we going to use? What did we want the house to look like?
We would discuss our problems with the script and what we needed to change.
And once we finalized our decision, we finally met up with the script supervisor, which was Cloe Beauchamp, and sought out her input on what we wanted and just basically any gaps that needed to be filled in.
I am the script supervisor. Some people call me a script advisor as well. Basically, my job is to make any changes that the production team or the crew or the cast would like, stuff like that. And I also run slate, so I will be the little clapboard lady in front of the camera every scene.
Also, we met up with Sarah Archer a few times to discuss storyboarding over the summertime. So we started on that a bit. We made a lot of organizational documents just to help us with what scenes were outside, what scenes were inside, what scenes involved which characters. So I think that was a really good move to do before school started.
When I found out Christopher was leaving those couple months before school started was when I thought about that the most. We were pretty sad at first, but I mean, that stuff happens, people move away, but he was very confident in our skills about what we'd bring to this movie and what we would do with it. I knew that it wouldn't have been different even if it was Christopher or not. When I found out he was leaving, it was before school got out, my sophomore year. And so I went most of the summer thinking that there's going to be some random teacher that I didn't know stepping into his role. So I didn't know that it was Chape until a couple weeks before school started.
Well, one thing I had going for me stepping in this job is this was an ISC class, one of the last ISC classes on campus. So I knew a lot of the kids, but they didn't know me in this role. So I needed to get comfortable with the students and the script as well. So one of the first things we did was sit together, big table, We all had a script in front of us, and we went through the whole movie, and we read that script through from beginning to end. Is that how you guys envision that?
Yeah. I mean, we could also like speed it up, but the only issue with that is that you have to.
It was a good way to get a feel of the script, get a feel of the movie, and get a feel of the actors. And they needed to learn, what it was going to be like, learn from each other. And, as an actor, you really need to have that trust with the people you're acting with. And so one way to start that step is with a big table read.
No one knew what to do. It was all of our first experience really acting. Well, Gerard played the starring role of the Bishop in Shrek musical before this, but this is all of our first time with the lead role, and we didn't know how to act entirely, but we got comfortable. I'd say we grew a lot.
First few days was a mix of stress and fun because we had a lot of setup to do, and we had to figure out our clothing and practice our lines. But then it was also fun because I had never really experienced it before, so it was something new, and everyone made it fun. So yeah, it turned out fine.
At the beginning of the year, when we first shot scene 10, the first scene we shot, I really didn't know anything about any of my co-stars besides maybe Tony and Nicole, but I wasn't really close with them. But after filming everything else, I feel like I'm actually good friends with them. And that's what I really liked about filming this.
By the time I did start filming, it was a few weeks in, and so everyone's already comfortable with their role, and it was my first day, and so I felt like I was the odd man out. I felt like I'm already an awkward person, and then it was even more awkward on trying to fit in the character because I still didn't know exactly how to act officially, and everyone else was all comfortable, and it's just a hot mess for me. I thought I was awkward, but everyone said I did well, so I mean, apparently it all worked out.
Hi guys.
Hello.
How are you guys doing today?
I'm nervous.
Yeah, I'm nervous too.
Yeah. A lot.
Okay. Tell me about how you're feeling.
I need to pee.
Oh.
I'm nervous, but I feel like I'll do good.
The first scene was really good. It went by really well. It did take a little bit longer than we expected, but the final product came out to be really good. It was basically just a conversation between the characters, and the way that the editors were able to cut it up was exactly how Andrew envisioned it, exactly how I envisioned it as well.
So basically, as editors, we just take all of the raw clips and audio that they give us, and we try to match those two together, have the best footage and the best audio for each clip, and try to turn that into a scene and the scenes into a movie.
Yeah, and we just look at all the clips we get from the crew, and then we use the storyboard that they make before they start filming, and then we look through all their takes and pick which shot is the best angle, and then which will give the best emotion, and then we follow the storyboard to put them in their places so that the scene has the best effect.
I think the best part being able to edit and see all the raw footage is we always got to see when people would mess up their lines or do something weird on accident, or before they actually start acting in a clip, we get to see what they're doing before, and yeah.
What's my line?
Wait, where are you meeting him?
One of the things I liked the most was Chloe would always have with the slate, and she would change the title of the movie, the play on the words of the movie Invisible Ties. It'd be something really funny, Invisible Fries or Visible Cries or something like that.
Yeah.
Really funny.
Or she used to write little notes on the slate, so she'd say slate, whatever scene it is, and then flip it over and just write little notes hello, goodbye, and things like that. And it really helped us actually edit the movie.
So it was just really cool to see so many different people in IC all involved in it, from the dreaming up of the idea, to the writing of the script, to the acting in the movie, to the filming of the movie, the producing of the movie, the directing of the movie. It was just really awesome to see high school kids be able to pull off something like this and do a great job.